I first got into electronic music in London, and I was very lucky. The scene that I was in was dominated by women. So I was never really, it was like female promoters, female DJs. So I wasn't actually really that aware of any kind of gender inequality. And then when I sort of started DJing in Berlin, it was actually a girlfriend who encouraged me. I was like just DJing in my bedroom for years, and it was another female who encouraged me and booked me. And yeah, so I always felt very supported by other women DJs. And there have been occasions, or when I've been DJing or whatever, that some guy has attempted to mansplain me something. But generally speaking, I think since this Me Too movement, and I think I haven't had so many problems, or and I think also women have become, like, particularly in electronic music, much more supportive of one another than perhaps in the early days or whatever. It was a bit more competitive, and but now we all try to support each other and bring each other up. So I think that's a really good thing. The general awareness, I thought about things differently, and it was necessary, that just raising awareness. Yeah.
How was it for you?
I got into the scene and I just have good experience. So maybe the genre where I started, like Afro House, they were really supportive when they see also like female coming up. Everybody's there and they're coming, and so I had no bad experience at all. And so around me, all the women around me are always supportive, and we always support each other, especially when you're a woman of color. Then it's maybe a difference. So
Yeah, I would say my one piece of advice to any female DJs who are starting out, like when I was starting out, I was very kind of like, say there's a guy DJing before you and you're DJing next, and then they play like an hour into your time and you just like stand back. And I never kind of trusted myself to be like, hey, this is like my set time or whatever. And then I would get back and I'd be so disappointed in myself that I hadn't. And I think that would be my advice, to be really, just firm and strong with just a simple thing. Like it's not being pushy or anything. It's just.
but it's our mindset.
Yeah. It's the. I think there's lots, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think of the name, but I think female pressure, and yeah.
So like you can really find all kind of DJs, women playing all kind of music. And if you're looking for someone, just go in, search, and then a lot of female DJs gonna pop up.
That's a lot of pressure,
Not to offend any
that's
of the
political. But I would say I have huge respect and love for. I think it's worth mentioning the female pioneers who sort of blazed the trail, like Ellen Elliott and Miss Kitten, and these were the ones that I looked up to when I was a raver, and made me never question that could be a possibility for me. So I would say, these heroes, yeah.
I would say Stacey Hotwax Hell.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm now in contact with her, and I mean she's the godmother of house.
Yeah.
And she's really struggling a lot.
Yeah.
So it's good to talk to her and see what she went through, and she's still fighting.
Yeah.
And yes, so.
There's this one track, I think it was made like 1 or 2 years ago by this DJ called DJ Paulette. She's also like a old house hero, UK house hero, and she made a track called Sheroes, and it's like, do you remember this Daft Punk song where they listed all like Paul Johnson, blah blah blah? She did that for the women, so it's like that's worth listening to, and it's nice to. If you're not so familiar with the history of female DJs, it's also quite enlightening. Yeah.
Their track. As I said, I like New York house. There's like this Barbara Tucker thing, and there's like, yeah, that's a track.
I'm definitely a feminist. And I don't know how I define feminism, but I think it's just, I have no idea actually how I would define that, but I would say I think the main thing is like being supportive of other women is really key, and helping each other. Yeah, that's
And not against men also.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not like being pro women, but not against men.
Yeah. No, I never really felt like that. Yeah, I think I only ever felt my own pressure against my own like expectations of, I want things to be perfect, and I would work against my own pressure, but not from. It was never in comparison to anyone, whether it be female or male. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I think in the early days they did, though. The first round of female DJs, they had to really like.
Yeah.
Maybe because I don't care what.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
else
Me
is
too.
saying,
It's
so
like.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It makes everything easier.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for your
for having us.
questions. Yeah, and for having us here.